Matthew Tallis, the Townsville-born and raised star, now the captain in his first season of captaincy for the Brisbane Broncos, leads the Premiers on the Dairy Farmers Stadium. They might support the North Queensland Cowboys, but there's terrific support here for the Brisbane Broncos, and here's their side.
Darren Lockyer at fullback, Takiri and Saylor on the wings. Sean Berrigan moves into partner Michael DeVere in the centres. Eichen and Prince the halves. Webke, Prentice, second receiver. Tallis, Carlo and Lee the forward pack. Harrison, Walker, Myers and Walker. Chris Walker on the bench. Coach Wayne Bennett. They certainly do present a very formidable outfit. Scotty Prince, his first game back. He's the enemy at the moment. A terrific rugby league talent, of course, from Mount Isa. Broncos looking for somebody to take over to fill the shoes of Alan Langer, Kevin Walters, and really he is a very exciting prospect, but we'll get plenty out here this evening.
Now the North Queensland Cowboys, also with a new captain, led out by their State of Origin centre, Paul Bowman. The Wooden Spooners of last year, this is really their big game of the year.
Julian O'Neill at fullback, Connolly and Lee's on the wings, Bell and Paul Bowman in the centres, who is also the captain of the side, Doyle and Feehan the halves, Buttigieg and Ralph the props with McWilliams and hooker, Warren Jones and Morrison, the interchange bench, Bowen, Strickland, Shipway and McDonald, the coach of course Peter Sheens. The player that we've got to look at to try and mark up against Scotty Prince this evening will be his good friend Nathan Feed, also Mount Isa boy, who could take a lot of responsibility out there this evening. Of course, he's got to do a lot of the attacking for North Queensland, but in particular, he's got to do a lot of organisation, and that's certainly not going to be all that easy, particularly when you're lining up against the Broncos.
Referee for this evening is Sean Hampstead. Touch judges tonight are Steve Nash and Darren Gosher. The video referee is Eddie Ward, but Brian Grant, the referee's coaches, also here in North Queensland tonight, and he will be up in the video referee's box to aid Eddie Ward. Sean Hampstead blows time on, and the Queensland Derby underway from Stockland Stadium, Dairy Farmers Stadium in Townsville, and Petro Sivanasiva brings it back and is tackled. There's been torrential rain in Townsville yesterday, again a lot of showers today, and very, very high humidity, which is going to take its toll on these players. They've all, of course, used to the humidity, even the Brisbane players, but it's so humid here in Townsville that with the new interchange rule, it'll be interesting to see just how long it takes before the coaches start making changes and how these players are able to cope. Brisbane 15 on their own side of halfway. Back to Darren Lockyer, the test fullback, getting his kick away. Julian O'Neill doing a lot of talking at the back for North Queensland, saying to his winger, first of all, it'll be yours, but then it bounced up for O'Neill. And the first tackle made on him by Michael DeVere. So the Cowboys bringing it outside their own 20. Trent Lease. Brisbane moving off the mark just a little too quickly for Sean Hampstead's liking. So the first penalty goes the way of the Cowboys. Julian O'Neill will kick for touch. He's 12 metres.
Get him behind me, right? Keep talking to him. It's on all night.
On his own side of halfway.
No. Touch judge, fellas, touch judge. Steady.
Nathan Feed giving his pass on to Robert Ralph.
He's on one, hands up, behind, Broncos, behind. Push in. No. Robert. Stand on one. Let me referee the game, right? No mucking around.
Carlo ruled to have given away the penalty, just pushing him to play the ball. The penalty goes the way of North Queensland, and O'Neill, second penalty in the space of a few seconds, and this time he has a chance to kick for goal.
Don't be being silly, right?
Well, the referee, you can hear him laying down the law on that occasion to Robert Ralph, just reminding him that he's in charge of the game. He did a pretty good job, Robert Ralph, to get himself into a position to gain the penalty. Certainly got to his feet, or attempted to get to his feet as quick as possible. Brisbane guilty of a couple of errors there, and of course that gave the original penalty away.
Give him 10, Luke.
Trying to assert their authority in the battle of the forwards. Thought they were quite lucky to get as far as they did into the tackle count without giving away a penalty. Julian O'Neill, first opportunity to post points, and on his current record, and last season's in particular, you'd expect that he won't have too much trouble from around about 33 metres out.
As the rain starts to come down again here at Dairy Farmers Stadium in Townsville. Very little breeze to speak of. The flags around the stadium just hanging quite limp in this extremely high humidity. On its way from Julian O'Neill, and he's pushed it wide. Pushed it wide and taken over the dead ball line by the Brisbane Broncos, which means it is a goal line dropout.
Touch it real dead.
Well, he's tried to attack Darren Locke. You can see just how much confidence that he has in his own and his team's ability. Huge drop kick, probably just as well. His teammates just apologise to them a little bit for carrying the ball over.
Zone one, hands on behind Broncos, behind me, Broncos.
Warren, 35 metres out from the Brisbane line.
So two hands off behind Broncos, hands off him ball, hands off the ball.
Almost up to the Brisbane 20. Doyle switches it with Nathan Thien. Looking for the Reynolds Morrison. Morrison stepping through the first tackle. Tackled inside the Brisbane 20. Bell at dummy half. Decides to run himself, runs into trouble, but he's only 8 metres out. Good attacking position now for the Cowboys. Away from Thien, short pass. That pass almost forward. Was right on the line to Buttigieg. McWilliams again, on the last, back to Thien. In the air and goes dead. Let go dead by Lottie Takiri. So Brisbane to bring it back out to the 20 for the restart.
Disappointing end of that set of 6 for the Cowboys. They've been in very good control of the football so far. The way that they're managing to run it around. Playing position has been fairly impressive. Wendell Saylor, the first time he touches the ball. Perhaps a reminder from the locals that a ruck's not going to feel anything like that.
Come on, Cowboys, come on me.
Gordon Tallis, the Brisbane captain, plays it. And Saylor anxious to get involved.
Robert, round down, I got it, Wendell, I got it. Come here. I got it, Wendell, I got it. Next. Right, if you want to come down with a forearm like that, I'll get you all night and you'll end up in the shed. I'm telling you right now.
So Robert Ralph, he is a fiery customer at the best of times, Robert Ralph, and that is a penalty that Tim Sheens won't be happy with. He'll allow Brisbane off the hook inside their own half.
I think it's always good when a player says, "What's that for?" The referee tells him. So here I did that as well. It really has been quite an expensive one. It's put Brisbane on the attack, 22 metres from the line.
Petro Sivanasiva. Back after that broken arm kept him out for most of last year from the Broncos. He's only 10 metres out from the line. Now to Scott Prince, switching his pass back on the inside to pick up Shane Webke. Still inside the 10 of North Queensland. Once more to Scott Prince. Runs it to the line, brings a cheer from the crowd and a boo from a few of his former supporters. Ben Aiken. Held on to first of all by Julian O'Neill. Then the tackle finished by McWilliams. Switch back to Sivanasiva. 5 tackles gone for Brisbane. How will they end this set of 6 close to the line? Aiken rolls the ball into the in goal. Diving forward, it'll be dived on by North Queensland. North Queensland getting back to save the day. That, of course, brings a goal line dropout.
Robert, no silly stuff, mate. It's not going to work. I know, I've been around you a fair while, you know that. No bait neither, right?
Julian O'Neill quite sensibly taking his time. There could be any danger of getting overheated out there this evening in the conditions, but quite sensibly giving his teammates a little bit of a break.
Wally, again, the referee Sean Hampstead having a talk to Robert Ralph. They've had a running battle in the first couple of minutes, first 8 minutes of this game. Even when penalties have gone North Queensland's way, the referee having a few things to say to Ralph, so he just has to settle it down a little bit. Giving away silly penalties against the Broncos. Going to be an easy way to self-destruct. Shane Webke just losing his footing. The ground, after all of the rain that they've had here in Townsville, is in good condition, but obviously just a little greasy on the top. Lockyer giving his pass, which is put to ground by Berrigan. Picked up by North Queensland. Referee quite rightly says, play on. Nathan Thiem to play it, 32 metres out from his own line.
Never 10 metres. Never 10 metres.
The penalty going against the Broncos with the 10 metres, but the play before, Adam Connolly did very well. It was a good set move from Brisbane, which looked like rewards. Lockie ran into a perfect
Touch
hole.
it, Bells, touch it.
Connolly moved in off his wing, just put enough pressure on to see Lockie take his eye off the ball for a little bit and snuck out what was a very dangerous opportunity.
John Buttigieg has lost a tremendous amount of weight in the off-season. They worked very hard, the Cowboys, to adjust to the new interchange rule, and Buttigieg has shed kilos during the off-season. You hardly know him. He literally is a shadow of his former self, the big fella.
Stand up, stand up, stand up. Don't bite me, Johnny Doyle, you won't get it, mate.
Glenn Morrison doing well to take that ball. He almost lost it. Now in the hands of McWilliams. 2 metres out from the Brisbane line. Great attacking position for the Cowboys. Buttigieg loses the ball. Picked up by Julian O'Neill. Knocked on. To the dismay of the Cowboys supporters, Sean Hampstead had seen the knock on. Brisbane scrum third.
Yeah, well, the big fella took it to draw in quite a number of players. I thought it may have been a second phase play opportunity, or perhaps even a chance to drop the ball in behind Buttigieg. The Cowboys had around about 5-2. It was a huge overlap. I think Ray probably thought he was a chance scoring from that close to the line, but obviously tight passes in these conditions are going to be very dangerous here this evening.
It's got to go in front of the outside foot forward, Petro. Got to go in front of the outside foot forward, that's it. That's a much better feed.
One of the new rules that the player feeding the scrum now has to put it between the feet of the prop forward. He has to put his outside foot across. The ball then has to go into the tunnel between his feet, trying to make the scrums at least some sort of a contest, whereas in previous seasons, yeah, the halfbacks have sometimes just thrown the ball in around the lock's feet. Darren Lockyer losing the ball, knocked on by Brisbane. Ball obviously slippery, but if there is just one downside to Darren Lockyer's game, it is his ball security.
Right, get in, John. Outside foot forward, John.
He makes up for that by being just one of the most naturally brilliant players in the Telstra Premiership.
Going straight, Luke. Right, outside foot forward. Right.
Nathan Thiem works the scrum for the Cowboys. Adam Connolly coming in off the left wing, runs into the tackle of Gordon Tallis and Darren Lockyer. Morrison on the fringe of the right feet, Wedke. Good striding run by Morrison. Again, working it to the blind side, but the ball lost by Robert Ralph.
Well, as disappointing as it is for Ralph and indeed the Cowboys, I think we can expect to see a little bit of this happening this evening.
Just go in front of the outside foot.
Players are hitting the ground, the ball
What's that?
just sliding out. It's like a piece of soap at the moment. I think that's where both of these teams have got to do a little bit more work in constructing their play. They've got to be more patient, be prepared to walk away, perhaps get themselves in good field position and kick the corners after they assert their authority, then try and attack close to the line.
Just get your foot down and keep your foot outside foot forward. Outside foot forward.
The crowd aren't happy, believing that that ball should have been allowed to stay with North Queensland, but Brisbane have come up with it at the second attempt. Lottie DeCurie looking for some heavy work in the centre of the right. Yes, it should be said, not only is the ball slippery because of the rain, which is still continuing to fall, albeit lightly at the moment, but the humidity is just so incredibly high. It must be up around the 90-95% humidity, even though it's been a late start by North Queensland standards, and it's well after an 8:30 start. You would think it'd be a little cooler, but that's not the case humidity-wise. It's incredibly impressive. So Brisbane take it back inside the Cowboys' half. No scorers yet here at Dairy Farmers Stadium. On the last, Brisbane. Now the kick. Hoisted high by Ben Aiken. Taken well by Julian O'Neill. Slowed down by Michael De Vere. And the captain, Gordon Tallis, eventually makes the tackle on O'Neill. 30 metres out from their own line, the Cowboys. This is where ball security is now imperative. Doing well to shoot his pass to Jeff Bell. Ben Aiken across in cover defence, drags him to ground. Aiken will be feeling it, the conditions here, because he didn't play a trial for Brisbane, had shoulder surgery during the off-season. And expected to play the full 80 minutes, he believes. So it'll be a real test for Ben Aiken. Last for the Cowboys. McWilliams shoots it back to Nathan Thien. He'll hoist it high. Lockie at the ball, knocked down and picked up by Brisbane.
Accidental offside. Accidental offside, have a scrum. Accidental offside. Your feet, accidental offside. Come off your hand.
Lockie is absolutely furious. He believes that he didn't even touch the ball. It was propelled backwards by a North Queensland player going into one of the Broncos, but I still think, well, make your own mind up there, but it did come off the foot of, I think, Webke before a teammate picked it up. But John, we're starting to approach a period of the game now where we can expect to see a couple of half breaks. 15 minutes into the game. Last year, we probably saw 3 or 4 unlimited interchanges at this stage. These players now are going to start feeling the pinch.
Kyle Warren, 5 metres out from the line. Can they post the first try of the game? Lou McWilliams tries to barge his way through from dummy half. Back to Warren, running hard, big butter gig. Almost got over the big fella. Good defence though by Civil. The receiver was able to hold him out.
Had to be offside, had to be offside. You're offside, go on the run.
The Broncos players can complaining here, and I think they've got a pretty good point. The referee Sean Hamstead saying that the Broncos players were offside when they reached out to grab the North Queensland dummy half player. I think it was Lee McWilliams, but in fact, when you're half a metre off the line, it's not too hard to do it. They've been doing it very well, North Queensland. They haven't been making too many mistakes. There's the play there. Well, he was certainly standing in there, but whether or not he was actually standing up and behind the touch and goal line when he made that dive forward, I think it's a little bit dodgy on that one.
Well, I think the point is there. Luke Prittis really never got back to the line. He was always in the field of play and would have had to get back to the line to be offside, to be onside. So Sean Hamstead has ruled that way, and this should be a gift 2 points now for Julian O'Neill. In front and 12 metres out, the chance for the Cowboys to put the first points of the night on the board. 70%, the goal-kicking record for Julian O'Neill.
That's it, thanks, mate.
Even though it is in front, and you would think he's able to throw it over, certainly taking his time about this kick, putting as much time into it as if he was kicking from near touch. And to the cheers of the Cowboys supporters in Townsville, the Cowboys put the first points on the board. North Queensland lead Brisbane by 2 points to 0. They've never had a victory over the Brisbane Broncos. They've had 2 draws with them. A dramatic draw here just 2 years ago when a goal after full time by Ben Walker got a draw for Brisbane, but they've never been able to win one. They've got their noses in front now by 2 points to 0, but a long way to go. Michael DeVilla restarts for the Broncos. Robert Ruff.
Come on, Broncos, behind me, Broncos, come on behind.
Gets
Hands off,
outside
hands
his
off.
own 20.
Stand up, that baby, stand up and play the ball.
McWilliams out of dummy half. Good run by McWilliams.
Come on, Broncos, behind me,
He's able to
Broncos,
pick
come
up
on.
10 metres through the centre of the Brisbane ruck.
Cowboys walk forward, Sean.
But again,
Yep, Ralphie just did it then.
Come on, Broncos, behind me.
Fiend works on the blind side. Pick up Glenn Morrison. That's the halfway mark. Nathan Fiend. Good kick by Fiend, putting this down into open territory. Dropping back forward, Lottie Kikiri. Only a few metres out from his own line. Good chase too by the Cowboys. Scott Prince going back to be the dummy half.
Very sensible, I think, for the Cowboy players to get rid of that ball. They kicked it on the forward tackle there. In fact, we've had nearly 20 minutes of play here, and that's only the third kick that we've seen. The Broncos got rid of it on the forward tackle very early in the game. The Cowboys put an in-goal bomb up around about 7 or 8 minutes ago.
Too long you hanged on to him. Let him go.
Fortunately, the good field position they've managed to attain through that kick from Nathan Feen has been wasted. Another penalty from offside. Give Brisbane the opportunity to attack them around about 46 metres out. We would expect to see players like Tallis at the moment, and in particular Lockyer, start to look like for a few holes on the blind side. Players getting a little bit tied up off the ground.
No real changes made as yet. Dane Carlow playing the ball for Brisbane. Scott Prince looking for a runner behind the line. That was Lockyer. He couldn't take it. Back done by North Queensland.
Knock on. Knock on. Knock on. Knock on. Knock on. Off the Cowboys' arm.
Now here's an interesting one. This is a new rule that Brisbane are saying to the referee it wasn't played at. And under the new rule brought in this year, if a ball is knocked on, and it will normally come when a player is trying to make a ball and all tackle, if he knocks the ball down and not intentionally playing at it, it isn't a knock on. And that's what the Cowboys were hoping for. Jeff Bell.
I think the referee might have remembered that one halfway through as well.
John Doyle trying to make the 5/8 roll at the Cowboys his own. So a lot of pressure on Doyle in this game. Peter Jones takes it inside Brisbane territory by a few metres. The Cowboys in front by 2 points to 0. Fox Sports coverage of the Telstra Premiership. The Queensland Derby match in Townsville. Nathan Feen again runs it to the line. Then away to ball. Just slipped inside. The attempted tackle of Wendell Saylor was picked up though by Aiken in cover. Feen again, hoisting it high into the in goal. Over the taken on the full by Darren Lockyer, and therefore back out to the 20 for a restart.
That's a couple of disappointing kicks on the final tackle. Sivanasiva, the man coming off for the Broncos as their first interchange player.
Just outside his own 20. Now he's other winger, Lottie Takiri. Terrific rivalry at the Broncos between the two wingers, Wendell Saylor and Lottie Takiri. Never a training session goes by when they don't take the opportunity just to G each other up. Now Gordon Tallis. Cowboys player down, injured in back play after that tackle. Prince goes to the line, trying to slip his pass away to Ryden.
Hey, come on. Of course I was playing advantage there. Don't be stupid.
He's got his hands full at the moment, the referee Sean Hampstead. It was a line ball decision, I think, that one too. Benefit of the doubt going to Brisbane. And this was probably their best opportunity at the moment. Quarter of the way through the match. I was just starting to feel the pinch a little bit at the moment.
Prince turning his pass back on the inside to pick up Graham Myers, who's replaced Sivanasiva, the first interchange for the Broncos. Now to Shane Webke. Webke runs it hard to the line, almost got through himself before he was put to ground by Jones. Brisbane only a couple of metres out from the line. Luke Prittis running in to be the dummy half for Brisbane. Danger from dummy half to Prittis. And the Cowboys are aware of it and push him back. On the short side to Ben Aiken. Aiken slipping his way through. And will go and score the simplest of tries. The Cowboys defence really opening up. And Aiken simply able to step and get behind them and score untouched. Aiken in for Brisbane. 14 with a kick to come in favour of the Broncos.
Well, it certainly looked like Brisbane were odds on to score. A little bit of disappointing defence. Robert Ralph and Peter Jones, the men beaten at the end, but Aiken saw half an opportunity to step back inside. They had an absolute army of players on the outside that Aiken could have given the ball to. It just seemed that one chance that they've been given Brisbane, close to the line. If there was anything that was missing, I think, from the North Queensland defence on that occasion, it was just a little bit of communication. They've done that excellently for the first 15 or 20 minutes or so. You can hear them from the commentary box, maybe a little bit closer to the line. Panic started to set in just a little bit.
Michael De Vere, the Brisbane goal kicker. He's kicked some 20 metres out to the left. Very, very valuable player for Brisbane, Michael De Vere, after he wrote with the club down in the Illawarra, said, I'd like to have a chance to come and play for you. What a buy he's been. This kick wide, though, no goal by Michael De Vere. 4-2 it is in favour of the Brisbane Broncos here in Townsville. Don't forget, tomorrow on Fox Sports, 4 games coming your way from the Telstra Premiership. The Storm versus the Bulldogs from Colonial Stadium in Melbourne.
Right, fellas, the kick while he
Followed
kicks it.
immediately by the Sharks and Dragons. That game from Toyota Park. Then the Knights and the Eagles. That'll be a terrific game in Newcastle. And then the Warriors and the Raiders from Ericsson Stadium in Auckland.
Forward.
Come on, never back. Got to get back with me. Got to get back with me.
Not getting back, and perhaps that's just a little sign of tiredness. They weren't able to get back, but they're the coach killer penalties. When you give away a penalty to Brisbane that allow them to go from their own 30 down to almost the opposition 30.
Yeah, that's right, John. I think the Brisbane players can sense that fatigue starting to set in with their opponent. Darren Lockyer racing up to grab that ball from the penalty kick and put it out, put even more pressure on the Cowboys, who haven't had an opportunity really to catch their breath.
Phil Lee trying to keep the ball alive. Morrison first to get to him. Feenan to finish the tackle off. Icon. Wide pass to pick up Scott Prince. Then to Lockyer. Ankle tap Darren Lockyer. Quickly plays the ball. Gordon Tellis to the blind side. Inside again to Lockyer. Dummies one. Then picks up the big redhead Brad Myers. He's 10 metres out from the North Queensland line, Myers. Quick play the ball on the short side from Prudis. Back inside to Lockyer. Then away again to Myers. Myers only a couple of metres from the line. Desperate defence now by the Cowboys. They're on the last Brisbane. Given back across field it goes. The kick will be put by Prince. Putting it across field. Up front goes Wendell Saylor. Not back by Saylor. Still play on. Saylor in possession. Looking to unload. Ball goes free. North Queensland should come up with it. They do. McWilliams gets it and play on. Lee McWilliams almost out to his own 20. Running to the short side, Trent Lease, playing his first season for the Cowboys. Came from the Redcliffe Club in Queensland. The son of a very, very good Queensland footballer of a few years ago, Peter Lease. And proving to be a good buy for them, young Trent Lease. Also a good goal kicker as well, which will be an added bonus. The kick over the head of Wendell Saylor. Takes his time though for it. The Blanche cheer from the North Queensland supporters for Wendell Saylor. Good chase on him though, making sure he couldn't get away, and that chase was led by Morrison and Fee. To Keary. Trying to get on the outside of Paul Bowman. Did well too to slip his pass early to Keary.
Put a foot on the ball, nice and easy.
Petro Sivanasiva now comes on for Brisbane. Shane Webke will have a breather.
Come on, Cowboys, come on, Cowboys, come on behind it.
Ball going loose. Taken ahead by Jeff Bell. Really with the rest of the ball. Bell going forward. Brisbane will get back underneath it. Terrific dive by Dave Carlo. I think it was that got underneath Jeff Bell. Gee, you bet Jeff it was. Dave Carlo, you bet Jeff Bell. Almost 100 out of 100 to beat big Dave Carlo. That was a sensational save, and Gordon Tellis slapped him on the back, and so he should.
Yeah, that was wonderfully contested there. I think Jeff might find himself butt of a few jokes at the Cowboys training sessions this week, getting run down by a second rower, but he shouldn't feel embarrassed about it. the effort that Carlo put in there was absolutely magnificent. The way he positioned himself to the side and then dived to get underneath right at the end saved his team a certain 6 points.
That was just an incredible save because not only was Carlo able to beat him, but Jet Bell had the start on him. Carlo had to turn to chase it. That was something that Wayne Bennett will no doubt be applauding him for at the half-time break. Penalty goes to North Queensland. Just pulling the ball out in the tackle.
Cover 2.
Shot.
Julian O'Neill will have a shot and attempt to level the scores up at 4.
Are we not getting back, or we're just going too early? Or?
Well, that one over there, you went miles too early. Yeah. You were back with me, you went too early. What's that?
Cover penalties.
Yeah, that 10 metre adjustment. It's pretty up there, things.
Even enough, eh?
You're playing south, Julian.
I don't think you do that on the field, or you're not supposed to say to the referee about evening things up. But it's,
Wasn't there a rule about only the captain could talk to the referee? Not only is Gilles not the captain, just tells what are the penalties, even them up.
Brisbane now have given the chance through Tallis's indiscretion in the tackle. North Queensland could draw level on this occasion. And by the look on Gordon's face straight after he gave the penalty away, he was almost resigned to saying, well, we've given that away, we're in a little bit of stripe here, we're better off giving the 2 points and trying to get back up the other end of the football field.
Julian wants the penalties evened up. He'd probably be interested to know that North Queensland lead the count 5-4. North Queensland and the Brisbane Broncos here at Dairy Farmers Stadium in Townsville. Just over 10 minutes remaining until the break. 4 apiece.
Right, Phil, stay with the key one, he kicks it.
North Queensland also now making a couple of interchanges. John Buttigieg and Robert Ralph going to the interchange bench. Glenn Morrison. Morrison bringing it just outside his own 20. Now to Warren. Looking to get on the outside of the Brisbane defence. Good cover though by Ben Aiken. Infield goes Adam Connery. Nathan Feed. Feed running himself. Will play it. That's the halfway mark in shot.
Outside the 40.
Nathan Feed getting his kick. Dropping back for it, Lonnie DeCure. And again, the chase. Led by Paul Bowman. It's been one thing about North Queensland. Young Nathan Feed isn't overawed by the occasion. And the kicks that he has put in have been backed up by some good chasing by the Cowboys.
L3, you're in, Cowboys, you're in behind me, come on. Hold now, hold.
Just on their own 20, Brisbane. Now to Myers.
L4 was all right. They're in again, Cowboys, you're in,
Good
hold now.
defence by Morrison. Came up very quickly, but was onside to do so. Now to Tallis. This has been a good set for North Queensland and forcing Brisbane into air. Brisbane still have the ball. Dave Carlo has it, but they're on the last and they're still inside their own 20. Still inside their own 20. Now Darren Lockyer breaking through from his own 20 and the ball went forward.
Change over.
Forward to Luke Prittis. Only marginally, but referee Sean Hampstead was right in line with that. Perfect position to see it.
Change over there.
Yeah, Lockyer transferred the ball. Prittis probably wishing he was half a metre lazier
Play there, Pete.
getting back. But it was an excellent, while there's a disappointment there from the Broncos, we've got to pay credit to an excellent set of 6 in defence by the Cowboys. They actually made Brisbane lose territory. Now they've got the opportunity to be able to cash in on that and take a 6-point lead into the break.
McWilliams plays it inside the 20. In 17, it's Mark Shipway for the Cowboys. Now with Fiend. Then wide to John Doyle. Doyle has his captain throwing on the outside. Couldn't get the pass to him. Tackle made by Scott Prince. Fiend again. Takes it to the line, Fiend. Then slips his pass to Shipway. 5 metres out from scoring the Cowboys. McWilliams. Then away to O'Neill. Right again to Nathan Fiend. looked for the short pass to Glenn Morrison and he lost it. But a penalty. Penalty to the Cowboys.
What was it, John? Wait, was it Wendell? Did you get a player? Gage?
It was a nice move that was put on. Sean Berrigan, the man that went high,
Where's he gone?
slipped up over the shoulder and made contact.
Where is he?
Good to see that Morrison's not claiming to have any neck injuries, simple shoulder injuries for one that he's pointing for.
So I'm not going to keep him down, right? What are you doing there?
High tackle by Sean Berrigan brings the penalty. So that allows North Queensland to restart the set. And only 5 metres out from the line. Here's their real chance again. Morrison! Morrison goes through this time. Second time lucky for Morrison and scores the try. Right next to the upright, Glenn Morrison goes in to score and the Cowboys are back in front by 8-4.
Attacking outfit at the moment. They've controlled this game a lot better than Brisbane have. May have surprised some people to see them elect not to take the shot at goal. They're full of confidence, electing to run the ball wide. You could just see that there was a little bit of doubt in the mind of the Broncos defence. Gordon Tallis was the man that was caught sliding sideways. There was a man that was angling back on the inside. Terrific work to be able to get on the inside of Prince as well. That has come from a guy that, let's remember, has just copped a pretty heavy knock himself.
It's come back. I was a bit rusty at the start of the game. The team was a bit rusty, mate. Next end of the side.
Glenn Morrison, the try scorer. And this gives Julian O'Neill a terrific opportunity to send the Cowboys away to a 6-point lead with only 6 minutes remaining until the break. Got a try against the Broncos. They've come close on a couple of occasions tonight, just haven't been able to finish it off. It'll lift the players and certainly it will lift the crowd here in Townsville.
One area that will boost their confidence in, John, is their set plays. We mentioned just as the game started that they really do rely on their set plays a lot. One of those has managed to net them the lead and probably the half-time break. Very important now that they don't waste it with retention of possession.
Coming out of their own 20, Jamie McDonald, head down, punches his way through and makes 10 very hard metres up the middle, and then a good quick play the ball by McDonald. Peter Jones getting his pass back to McDonald. Right on the edge of the ruck, Jones trying to stride his way through. Losing the ball though, Brisbane coming up with possession. Played by Michael De Vere on halfway to Keary, elects to run himself. No support though. Still going Lottie to Keary. Tough run by Takiri, almost up to the 30-metre mark of the Cowboys. Back to Webke. He's had a short stint on the interchange bench. Prudis runs himself a few metres from dummy half and then straight into a yawning gap goes Philip Lee. Lee able to get his pass away, but the Cowboys back in defence to make the tackle.
No, he wasn't. He never had the ball. Never had control of the ball at any stage.
Well, a great run from Philip Lee up the centre of the ruck. He angled himself perfectly.
So I really didn't have control of it.
Turned it. The ball that was on the inside from Prittis. The last-ditch defence on Gordon Tallis. Doesn't drop the ball too many times in positions like that. Find that the Cowboys will take as much time as they possibly can here. This is probably the most important set of 6 in the early game for them.
John Doyle just getting some attention in back play at the moment for the Cowboys.
Right, keep yourself straight, Cowboys. Right, Broncos.
So they're without their 5'8" at the moment. He's just getting back to his feet now. He has a hand injury by the looks of things.
Well, wait around for them. In you go, Glenn. In you go.
He's going to go back and take his place in the line for the Cowboys. The first receiver, though, was pulled by Nathan Feen.
Now they've got to be prepared to sacrifice a couple of metres here just to ensure that they get in a good field position so that they can get as maximum or the maximum amount of territory they can from a clearance kick. Won't surprise to see them not wait until the 50 kick.
Another good hard run by Peter Jones. Has plenty of pace, Jones. 10 on their own side of halfway. Morrison, who was the try scorer, did well to get that pass back to Feen. Trying to probe his way through the middle of the Brisbane defence. Berrigan made the tackle on him. Here's the last. Kick. Play on, says the referee. Back to Nathan Feen. Still play on, now in the arms of Lottie Takiri. Takiri confronted by the North Queensland defence. Paul Bowman getting to him first to hold on to it. 10 points to 4 in favour of North Queensland. 2.5 minutes remaining until the break. Brisbane certainly would like to square up the ledger before they go in for half-time, and this is Berrigan. Well spotted, though, by Jamie McDonald. Sivanasina drops his shoulder into the defence. Held on to, though, by Lee McWilliams. From Prittis to Lee, then put down by Darren Lockyer. May not have been the best of passes to him, but he really didn't have his eyes on that Darren Lockyer and knocked the ball on.
No, he may not have had his eyes on it, John, but I think you mentioned the important point there that, look, Lee didn't really put the ball in a safe basket for Lockyer to run onto. It was out there. Do your best to hang on to it. Lockyer could sense that there was plenty of defence around him that was going to make heavy contact with him.
There you go.
But just over a minute and a half before the break, they didn't need that. They wanted to be in a good field position.
There you go. That's it.
Well, a minute and a half until the break. A chance for North Queensland to put some more points on the board. And they're full of confidence at the moment, the Cowboys. This is Adam Connolly.
Hands up now, hands up.
Manhandled by Shane Webke. Doyle recovered from that knock a few moments ago.
Webke's experience over the last 5 or 6 tackles for the Broncos has been terrific. Moving up, trying to snap out whatever metres the Cowboys are able to gain. Don't be surprised if we see a drop goal attempt here. A 7-point break would be advantageous at the half.
Certainly in these conditions it would. Julian O'Neill, the pass has gone in behind Kyle Warren. Wendell Saylor wasn't able to get it.
Play the forward pass first. Yep.
And it will be a Bronco scrum feed. The initial mistake being made by North Queensland for the forward pass from Julian O'Neill. He's just getting himself ready to give the pass to Kyle Warren when he was tackled. Which forced the ball free. Only a few seconds remaining in the first half, and Brisbane run it immediately wide to Michael DeVille. Taken though, good covering tackle by Paul Bowman. He wasn't going to give Michael DeVille 1 inch. Here's Ben Aiken.
Held 2, let him up now, let him up. Hold, Cowboys, hold.
Prittis tries to sneak from dummy half. Might have time just to play the ball to his feet and plays it. The referee says that'll do us. Half-time. And a surprise result here in Townsville. It's the North Queensland Cowboys, the wooden spooners of last year, in front of the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Broncos, the side they've never beaten in the competition, but it's the Cowboys in front at half-time by 10 points to 4. And the half-time score, a really surprise at half-time here at Dairy Farmers Stadium in Townsville, with the North Queensland Cowboys in front of the Brisbane Broncos by 10 points to 4. One try apiece, but the goal kicking of Julian O'Neill has made the difference. 10 points to 4. Who would have believed that the Cowboys could lead the Broncos at half-time? The first points of the match came the way of a penalty goal to Julian O'Neill, but the first try came to Brisbane's Ben Aiken, and it turned out, Wally, to be a fairly soft try.
It did. Brisbane had put a little bit of pressure on the North Queensland defence. Players sliding off the tackles. Ben Aiken, though, spotted a gap that was in behind the ruck. Obviously opened up. Brisbane probably had 2 or 3 opportunities to score prior to this one, but very ordinary defence, I thought, in behind their players, obviously hoping somebody else was going to do the work for them.
The Cowboys had a terrific chance to score a try. When a ball went loose, it was towed ahead by Jeff Bell. You would have thought that Bell, with his pace as a centre, would have been able to get to it, but this was just a wonderful save by one of the young guns from Brisbane, their big second rower, Dane Carlaw.
Well, it probably has booked Carlaw a spot in the Broncos team for some weeks to come. Bennett looks for excellence in effort in situations like this. Really, I think everybody at the ground was resigned to the fact that it was a try for sure. You and I'm sure were 2 of those people.
Glenn Morrison came close to scoring, but drew a penalty for a high shot, and the high shot came from Sean Berrigan.
Well, Brisbane, I think at this stage, they knew that they were in real trouble. Berrigan had been asked to cover for a couple of players there. He actually marked 3 of them. Moving out, he knew that, well, he basically couldn't get to anybody else. He had to jump up. But it really was a pat on the back was going to go to Morrison. He didn't try and milk it too bad. He simply got to his feet, and his work in getting to his feet simply paid off about 30 seconds later.
Well, he did, and this is how he scored the try that put North Queensland in front at the half-time break.
Well, there was a little bit of confusion in the Broncos' defence. Gordon Tallis was one of them. Scott Prince, he got stood up. Tallis, he got beaten on the inside, and really Brisbane's defence at that stage, they were in a little bit of strife, I think, because they weren't really moving up off the line too far. You could see that they were tackling, or trying to tackle Morrison when he was about 2 metres in front of the line. They should have been around about the 7 or 8 metre mark, particularly when they're in such a dangerous situation like that.
Good recovery by Morrison after he had been hit with that high tackle to come back and score a very important try. So at half-time, it's 10 points to 4 here in Townsville in favour of the home side, the North Queensland Cowboys.
Well, Brisbane, I think, won't panic too much, but they've got to remember last year that they were in real strife until they got out of jail. But the reason that they're struggling so much is because they've spent the majority of the game in their own half. Over 60% of it there. They're not really doing too good in the completion rate when they get the football, and that's why they're finding themselves flat-footed on their own line too much. The rest of it, well, there's not too much in that. The line breaks are pretty even. The missed tackles are, and the errors, well, they're going against Brisbane. And the errors are going against Brisbane is because, for the reason, simple reason, is that they're very tired. They can't get out of their own territory, but you've got to pay great credit to the Cowboys. They're playing the football game the way Tim Sheens wants them. Stereotype, fine, but they're carrying it out and executing their plays 100%.
Very oppressive conditions, high humidity. The North Queenslanders are used to it, but then again, Brisbane train in the humidity a lot at their home ground, so probably can't use it for that much of an excuse. Simply, the Cowboys have played well in the first half and confidently. At half-time, North Queensland lead Brisbane by 10 points to 4. For the start of the second half, Wendell Saylor just coming out at the back of the pack. The Cowboys were first out onto the field. Maybe that's a sign of just how confident they are, the Cowboys. Leading by 10 points to 4 at half-time. The half-time work rate of the 2 sides. Lee McWilliams, he has worked hard for the Cowboys, done a good job for them, and Luke Prittis, as always, tireless worker for the Broncos, along with big Shane Webke. I think you made the point, Wally, just how vital he is to the Broncos, the experience that he showed in the closing stages of that first half.
Well, he needed to. Brisbane were falling apart at that stage. His work rate in defence, we're not used to giving that a rap, more so in an attack. But Buttigieg, he's the man that's been very impressive for the Cowboys. His defensive rate, we're used to seeing him doing plenty of hit-ups, but his work rate off the floor has been first class. So Michael De Vere to get the second half underway.
The Cowboys leading by 10 points to 4. Can they go on with it now? Jamie McDonald brings it back outside his own 20 with a good, solid run to start the second half. McWilliams on to Glenn Morrison, who loves to work just on the fringe of the ruck. Morrison. Nathan Feen getting his pass back to Mark Shipway. Shipway almost up to the halfway mark. Feen again. Just took a moment to size up where he was going to put that kick to. Lottie DeCurie, who drops back for Brisbane. 35 out from his own line is where DeCurie plays it. Darren Lockyer looked to try and work on the blind side. John Doyle read that well in defence. Myers. Brad Myers storms his way towards halfway, in fact reaches the halfway mark. Prudis to Tallis on the short side. And again John Doyle is the one covering out there, and a good one-on-one tackle on Gordon Tallis by Doyle. Like it, and again it's Doyle coming over the top to make the tackle and make him lose the ball. Good defence, John Doyle. Couple of tackles in a row, particularly the one on Gordon Tallis, who's a hard man to stop, and then to his feet and brings a mistake by Brisbane. Pat on the back for John Doyle. North Queensland draw the penalty. Brisbane not getting back the 10 metres with Sean Hampstead. And just a little bit of frustration looking to be showing on the faces of the Broncos.
Well, they've only got themselves to blame for it, John, because we're in perfect alignment to see where the referee was standing on that occasion. The players, they had a look at Hampstead after he called him to get back. They may have only been in front of him by a quarter of a metre or so, but he warned them 2 or 3 times they're going to get penalised for it.
McDonald, 30 metres out from the Brisbane line. Another try here to North Queensland would certainly make things interesting. McWilliams went a few metres from dummy half then to pick up Mark Shipway. Doyle coming back across field. Now to Feen. In behind the line to Peter Jones. Jones, one-handed pass, did well to pop it to his captain, Paul Bowman. Bowman only 15 metres out from the line, trying to get his way through. Bowman and is held on to. Quick play the ball, across field to Feen. Then it goes away to Glenn Morrison. Had the line inside, but couldn't get the ball down.
There was some great work there from Philip Lee, who was involved with Billy Oaken in the end. But a wonderful pass from Morrison. He took 2 players out of the action for Brisbane and then popped the ball up into a hole. Offered the chance. And really, it was only desperation in defence and a little bit of poor control in the end to stop the Cowboys from posting even further points.
Good pass by Redkey to pick up Gordon Tallis, who's lost it. Shane Redkey. He put his body on the line, he's taken a knock and he's still down in back play. But Tallis, who is, of course, as we said earlier, a Townsville product, losing the ball, brings a cheer from the crowd. Here it is. Yeah, ball just popping loose in the tackle. Redkey coming very slowly back to the scrum.
Outside foot forward, outside foot forward. In you go, Glenn Morrison.
Picked up by Morrison at the back of the scrum, having a good game, Morrison. Then his pass to O'Neill coming into the line. Now to Bell. Bell, if he hadn't been unable to unload to Morrison on the inside, it could have been dangerous. Here's Kyle Warren. Warren, 32 metres up from the Brisbane line. Feen, Doyle, Jones. Bowman tries to bat it on to pick up Lease. Went behind Trent Lease and into touch.
Well, the Cowboys knew exactly the move that they wanted to execute. Had plenty of passes in. The problem they got into was that while the ball was being transferred across the field, they weren't travelling forward, which made it very difficult for the outside attacking players to be able to take advantage of their field position. Poor pass, really putting Brisbane under pressure. And John, this is the period of the game, I think, where they're really starting to find out that they need a talker out there. Didn't hear it too much throughout the course of the first 40-minute period. Not too many players. Kevin Walters, of course, did it well last year. Wouldn't shut up on the field. players used to say he was almost annoying. He just kept at them time after time. But when he does that sort of thing, it really does give you good control out in the football field because your communication is so good.
Well, I suppose, Wally, Ben Ikin isn't a talker like Kev Walters. Darren Lockyer may talk, but he has a quiet voice at the best of times, Darren Lockyer. And you're probably right. I mean, that's an area they just took for granted. Here's a heartbreaking mate. The ball's gone forward anyway, I think, to Luke Prittis. Then it was knocked on, so it doesn't make any difference. It'll be a North Queensland scrum feed.
Well, it was a well-worked play. Prince worked Wilson with Webke, tipped him back in perfectly. Fortunately, he didn't have a bit of a peep on the outside. There were two Bronco players that were looming in support. But one message I'm sure that Wayne Bennett will relay via the trainer to his players is they don't have to score off every play that they have during the football game. They can simply park themselves down this end of the football field and wear their opponents away, similarly to what North Queensland did to them in the first 40-minute period.
If you've just joined us on Fox Sports for our coverage of every game, of course, of the NRL season, yeah, that score is right. North Queensland leading Brisbane by 10 points to 4. Don't forget tomorrow on Fox Sports 2, a quadruple header. The Storm versus the Bulldogs from 2 o'clock. That's Eastern summertime, followed immediately by the Sharks and the Dragons, then the Knights and the Eagles and the Warriors and Raiders. A feast of football on Fox Sports tomorrow. Penalty Brisbane. This will allow Brisbane to go deep inside North Queensland's attacking territory. Darren Lockyer's kick takes it up 18 metres out from the line.
Just taking it a little bit too far, slowing Brisbane's play down. They've done it very successfully so far.
7 to see the hard run, 10 metres from the line. Prittis runs into the dummy half for Brisbane. Has a couple of players on the short side, elects to go to the open. Ikin on to Shane Webke. Prittis brings it back now to the left to Ikin, in behind the line to Lockyer, then to De Beer. De Beer on to Lottie Takiri, beats one, beats two, almost to the line. Good defence though, McWilliams got to him and held on to him. North Queensland player down who'd come across in cover. They're one short in defence at the moment. Ikin, who scored one try, looking to get through, pops his pass away to Prittis. Long, wide ball, outline through Derrigan, then away to Wendell Saylor. Saylor from the corner, pushes his way over the line. Has he got it down fairly?
I didn't see the ball go down, Eddie. Just second the grounding and the corner post.
Well, he wants a clarification, but I'll tell you what, while they want to get clarification on this try, they want to get some medical assistance to Julian O'Neill as well. He is in absolute Disneyland. He was the man responsible for stopping Lottie Takiri scoring on the left-hand side of the field. He was knocked rotten. The replay showing Wendell Saylor going to the line. You've got to ask whether the ball crossed on the grass or not. The end-on replay will give us a tighter shot. It would look to everybody that Saylor certainly had control of the football. No one can see the footy where it is. The judgment has now got to be made whether the ball made contact with the grass. I think on that you could probably say that Saylor did have control of the footy.
Now under the rules, the video ref can give it back to the referee if he hasn't got a clear view, or they can give the advantage to the attacking side. The advantage would go to the attacking side, but the video referee doesn't have a clear picture. He got it down, and he probably could hand it back to Hampstead and say, well, if he's got it down, it's a try. Everything else is clear.
Well, looking at that, I think it's impossible to say that Saylor wouldn't have had the ball forced onto the grass, but you can't see the football. That's where the problem is. For all involved in it, the Brisbane players have got no doubt whatsoever. They're standing back, having a good time.
Well, they've got two up in the video box tonight. Eddie Ward and Brian Grant are both there to help Sean Hampstead with this decision.
Well, gee, just looking at that, I find it very difficult to say how it wouldn't be a try unless the ball was dislodged from Saylor's grip.
Ref's call.
He's awarded a try.
Yeah, that is the way the new rule will operate. The attacking side will be given the advantage, but in that case, the video referee, or referees tonight, all they would say to Sean Hampstead, we couldn't see him get the ball down, but everything else is clear. It's now up to you, and the attacking side is favoured. The crowd don't like it, but that's the way the rule will operate. Wendell Saylor scores the try, and 10-8 it is, kick the count.
Yeah, it was a a play that Brisbane probably had a chance to score just prior to Ben Ikin's opportunity to keep the football alive is what destroyed the Cowboys' defence. He worked it very well. Prittis certainly caused some problems, but a great tip on. Murigan did some good work there, and despite the efforts of Jeff Bell, he had a tough task in being able to stop Wendell Saylor. Just wasn't able to get there. The North Queensland fans didn't like Wendell for switching to rugby union really last week. They've got even more reason to dislike him this evening.
Incidentally, Julian O'Neill is back with the side. He's recovered from that knock and that tackle on Lottie Dakiri. Here's Michael De Beer from touch. Swinging back. Looks okay. No, just away at the last moment. So the Cowboys cling to their lead of 10 points to 8. We've had 9 minutes of the second half. Here at Dairy Farmers Stadium in Townsville, the Cowboys 10, the Broncos 8.
And that 9-minute period, John, is a very important point that both teams and their coaches have got to remember. We've seen the game now move up another level into a very interesting stage, but there's still a long, long way to go in this football game. Brisbane can't make the mistake of trying to attack every time they get the football. The Cowboys similarly can't really afford to panic when they see Brisbane throwing the football around. They've controlled them very well defensively so far throughout the match.
Petro Sivanasiva. Still just inside his own 20, where he was met by the defence and put to ground by Darren Strickland, who's come on for the Cowboys. He's wearing jersey number 16. Philip Lee, player who was injured right at the start of last season, had to have a knee reconstruction, Philip Lee, and missed the entire year.
Stand up, Cowboys. Stand up. Get up one.
Prittis elects to go from dummy half, then to Wendell Saylor. It's just so strong. Saylor gets to halfway, and 5 tackles gone now for the Brisbane Broncos. Ikin dropping back forward as Trent Lease. Into the in-goal, Lease. Have to clear it. Back into the field of play. Good chase by Brisbane. The chase led by Gordon Tellis.
And it was a great kick from Ben Ikin. It was into open spaces, sat up a little bit in the in-goal area and gave his teammates plenty of time to be able to get through there. 2 of them, in particular, Gordon Tellis is the one leading the way. Now the Cowboys, desperate to make sure that they retain possession, but they've got to get out of this area of the field.
Jeff Bell, gee, that was a suspect play the ball. I think he was a little lucky to get away with that one. So there's the changes left. 9 for both. Wendell Saylor. Saylor coming back across field, but the defence was just absolutely surrounded by white jerseys, and eventually McDonald made the tackle on him. To Keary. Driven back, 10 short of halfway, Lottie Dakiri. Tellis. Gordon Tellis hitting the tackle of Peter Jones. Brisbane just perhaps starting to get their act together for the first time in the game and getting a little bit of a roll on after that Wendell Saylor try. Now to Darren Lockyer. Lockyer slid away from one tackle into open spaces. Goes Lockyer to Luke Prittis backing up. Prittis getting to the line. He's over the line. Can he grab the ball?
I couldn't say it again, did he? Sorry, mate. I don't think he got this one down.
Well, the crowd are doing the referee. They can't on this occasion. The referee can't be blamed for keeping up with the play.
Well, Luke Prittis shaking his head. He doesn't think he got it down. Sean Hampstead has said he didn't see it, but he didn't think he got it down. So if this one does go back to a ref's call, this will be no try.
Well, I think you can be fairly confident when you see Prittis standing there and not retreating back over the halfway line. It really was a good chase, though. Connolly put in some good work. So too did the hooker, Lee McWilliams. Gee, they fought well. Made it very tough. The ball was kept up in the air. I'm sorry. He actually managed to ground it. It's made it very difficult for the cameras this evening. The boys are doing their best to make the evening as tough as possible.
Yeah, I doubt all this one. If it does go back to Sean Hampstead, he's already said that he doesn't think he got it down, and I think the pictures we're seeing would vindicate that decision.
I think he's been held up. Great credit to the desperation of the North Queensland defence. the video replay, hoping that there's going to be one little gap that'll show something.
Interesting thing here, if he's held up, I don't think he's got the ball down. Did he still have control of it? Because if he's lost the ball, if he's held up in goal, it's a scrum with the Brisbane scrum fleet. Again, the next call. Held up.
Oh, and he's back in the good books with the Lobos.
No try, but the referee ruling he did have control of it. Didn't lose the ball. Luke Prittis held up, so that means Brisbane will feed this scrum just 10 metres out from the line.
Now the Broncos have got the opportunity. They probably should have been using the last 20 or 30 seconds to be able to come up with a play. We're used to seeing Tallis either playing at lock, and he is packing in at lock forward into this scrum. They've used him as a weapon on a number of occasions. On a dummy this time round.
Ben Ikem turning it back for Wendell Saylor. Well read though in defence by Jeff Bell. He saw where Saylor was coming and got right around his ankles. Berrigan looking to get his pass back. They're only 5 metres out from the line, Brisbane. Scott Prince scrambles to his feet and plays it. Webke running hard, and the North Queenslanders knew he was coming at them. You could hear them shouting his name. Webke, Webke. Get him, and McDonald did get him. Prince, Myers. Flat pass to Brad Myers. Knocked to ground, still 8 from the line. Brisbane looking to get back into the lead in this game. Good pass by Phillip Lee. Lee doing well to unload to Dane Taylor. 5 tackles gone. They're on the last Brisbane. 2 metres out. Luke Prittis, wide pass. Gone behind them. Back to Wendell Saylor. Saylor still going. Can he unload the pass? He doesn't. Jamie McDonald steals it. Good defence by North Queensland. They were under pressure, but they that time didn't crack.
Yeah, good defence from the Cowboys. They did very well, but you've probably got to say that the Broncos aren't being patient enough with their play. Good tackle, why not just try to put the ball in behind? They've managed to do it and show control so far. In the club's history, they haven't been able to do it so far this evening when it's been most important to them.
Peter Jones being backslammed by Gordon Tallis, looking to the referee, asking if he was lifted, but the referee said no, it was a fair tackle. Now good kick.
It's just fallen around about 3 or 4 metres short too. The Cowboy players were willing it on to bounce inside the 20-metre line as far as they could. They were wondering what was going on. Let's try and remember the rules here.
Tackle on Jones. Gordon Tallis, with the aid of Luke Prittis, tipping him over and slamming him on his back. And immediately Peter Jones got to his feet and was saying to the referee, I was lifted, but to no effect. Brisbane this time to bring it out of their own territory. Goes straight through. Across comes Julian O'Neill and Cobb. Falling up to the outside is Adam Connolly. He'll go all the way down and score. Lonnie DeCary goes in to score the try. A much improved football, Lonnie DeCary. Captain Fiji in the recent World Cup and now starting to show that experience. And DeCary splits them from well inside his own territory and puts Brisbane back in front.
Well, how important for Brisbane was that where that kick finished? Ball going into the scrum. We've seen Brisbane use their shock weapons very effectively. Takiri ran straight at Paul Bowman, stood him up, then used his pace to be able to get round on the outside. Julian O'Neill covered an enormous amount of territory to try and get across to run his man down. Adam Connolly gave brave assistance, but unfortunately, when you're up against a man like Takiri, there's the opportunity where he managed to get round. Well, it was as well. John Doyle was a guy that was left jersey grabbing. I'm sorry, it wasn't Paul Bowman originally. Got round him, but Doyle was the man. Should have been going towards his legs, trying to effect a tackle. And what a fine athlete Takiri is. You can understand just why the enthusiasm between he and Wendell Saylor is so great at the club. Lottie will be remembering or reminding Wendell later on tonight who scored the best try of the evening and the longest one. I don't think Wendell will care at the moment. That one, a 4-pointer, has put Brisbane back in front and taken a lot of pressure off them.
You can bet that when Wendell scored the try, they have a battle between them as to who scores most tries in the season. They keep a running record. Saylor would have been very quickly in his ear to say it's 1-0 my favour. And Lottie, you can bet, is now back saying that ledger is now 1-all. Here's Michael De Vere. Brisbane lead 12-10. Another difficult kick from De Vere from near touch. Again, strikes it well, but again, just slightly off target. Just slightly astray. 12-10 it is in favour of Brisbane.
This next 6 tackles will be interesting for the Cowboys. Just watching them, the body language in behind the line. They had plenty of heads that were bowed. There wasn't a lot of conversation going on for quite some time. And then some of the senior players, O'Neill came in to really remind his players of what they've managed to achieve so far in the evening and the importance of not throwing that away. Just how they handle that in the next set of 6. I'll be interested. They can't afford to get too excited, race up and give away a penalty and offer Brisbane another opportunity deep inside their own half.
Brad Myers, almost out to his own 20. I guess one thing North Queensland are lacking tonight is normally the crowd support that's here for a Broncos game. It's always just a full house, their biggest game of the year, but there's just been torrential rain here in Townsville. The crowd tonight just over 21,500. And under normal circumstances, they would be absolutely bringing the house down at this stage. But you can't blame people up here for not coming, particularly those from outlying areas. Here's Philip Lee. Lee slipping it back to Prentice. They're starting to open up a little bit. This time Brisbane dropping the ball, but the mistakes are starting to come. Scott Prince couldn't hold on to it that time.
Oh, wouldn't he have loved to have held on to it as well? Sure, the locals here. I'm glad that's one time they didn't see Prince hold the ball, but the way that Brisbane have managed to affect some of their plays tight to the ruck. I'm not used to seeing too many of those. Lockie has been instrumental in a lot of them.
Doyle. Knowing that he missed that tackle on Lottie Dakiri just a few moments ago, and there is the missed tackle count, and that is starting to now go against North Queensland. A couple of vital missed tackles. Just back to that point about the crowds, one thing people do have to remember here in North Queensland is that people come from such wide areas, from out in Mount Isa, from Cairns, Mackay, particularly to see the Broncos. There have been a lot of roads flooded in the North Queensland area, and people just haven't been able to get here for this game, and probably the atmosphere just down somewhat on what it would normally be, and that certainly isn't helping the Cowboys. But it's still 12-10 in favour of Brisbane, but one suspects that it's starting to swing in Brisbane's favour as Jeff Bell getting a knock on the knee.
Yeah, they're doing it tough. Jeff Bell, he really is finding it hard to be able to get back in, as is Julian O'Neill. At one stage, the trainer called for a stretcher. Bell a little bit too proud to jump on that.
5 and last, no penalties now.
Vital now that they regroup. A good chase from this kick is very important to them. They must get good position.
Inside the 40.
So the kick just inside his own 40-metre mark. Darren Lockyer brings it outside his own 20. Then to Wendell Saylor, who's drifted right over to the right side of the field. Bob's up anywhere, Wendell Saylor. I guess the two Brisbane wingers, they do have a bit of a licence to roam around, pick the spot where they're going to attack from. And again, it's Saylor coming back in the middle of the ruck, where he can do so much damage. He's just so strong. He's probably strong as any forward. Who just has so much speed, and there it is. It takes 4 to actually get him to ground.
You can imagine the effectiveness of it, John, particularly with the interchange rule as it's been amended this year, to be able to have players like Saylor and Takiri come in and help the forward pack. It really does give them 8 forwards.
On halfway, Brisbane get to the last tackle. Gordon Tellis to have a breather and come to the interchange bench. The kick ahead being chased through for Brisbane by Ashley Harrison, who's come onto the field now. Julian O'Neill takes it, and O'Neill will be smothered by the Brisbane chasers. Berrigan, and also up to help him, Scott Prince. Just on his own 20. Adam Connolly. Now McDonald. Just doing a little tough now to come out of their own area, North Queensland. The crowd trying to get behind them, trying to lift them. And Peter Jones may be the fellow to do it. Almost got through Jones. Good smothering tackle though by Luke Prentice, went underneath to get him. Mark Shipway to play it on tackle number 5. Kick by Nathan Thien. Putting it in behind Lottie Takiri and Darren Lockyer. Lockyer picks it up and will be put over. Brisbane on their own 20.
Come behind Cowboys, come on behind me. Behind Cowboys.
Played by Lottie Dakiri. This is Ashley Harrison.
Held free. Here I am, Cowboys, here I am behind me. Hold now, Cowboys, hold.
Berrigan runs from dummy half. Thought he
He's
saw
on
a
full
little
line,
gap.
now let him up.
Eventually
Here I
made
am,
some
Cowboys, here I
meters.
am.
Plays at 10 on his own side of halfway, Berrigan. Icon again back on the inside to Dane Carlo. Carlo has already tonight shown the speed he has when he was able to outsprint Jeff Bell when Bell looked certain to score. Scott Prince kicks. The kick going down to Trent Lease. Lease has to come in off his wing and took that well, Lease. Met by De Vere. Dakiri goes in to make the tackle. Blindside they try to run. Once more Lottie Dakiri is there.
No way, I gave you a couple in a row then, you're not standing square. Lottie Dakiri, mate, you weren't square, I gave you 2 in a row then. It's on!
Penalty to North Queensland. Julian O'Neill with this kick just from outside his own 20. A couple of interchanges being made now by both sides.
Touch judge.
Cowboys having made 6 of their 12, Brisbane 5 of their 12. Expect them now to start making those changes because this is the time of the game. In this humidity,
Hands up now, hands up.
we'll really be starting to tell. Not only for the big fellas either, for everybody.
L2, let him up now. Come on, Broncos, go Broncos, come on.
Buttigieg plays the ball. Out wide to Paul Bowman. Bowman slips away from the tackle of Prince. Got it to Julian O'Neill. O'Neill got it and scored. Good work by Paul Bowman. The captain was able to get over the top of his former teammate Scott Prince. And O'Neill backs up on the outside. He is a much improved player, Paul Bowman, and aren't they happy? That has brought the crowd to life. 14-12 in favour of the Cowboys with a kick to come.
Defence a little bit lethargic from Brisbane on occasion. But a well-worked set play again. We've become used to seeing North Queensland do this. And it was a terrific run from Bowman, but it was right through the defence of Scott Prince, who should have known better as to the strength of a former teammate. This Prince you're seeing just being left on the ground. Bowman, well, I think he meant to throw it to Trent Lease, actually, when he found Julian O'Neill racing into the hole to grab a golden opportunity. It's brought this crowd back to life again. It's almost a resignation once Brisbane had scored that last try that the Broncos were back in it and were about to run away from the game. They've got to remember they can't think like that. There's too long to go in this game. Over 16 minutes.
Yeah.
A pretty important kick coming up as well.
A very important kick, this one from Julian O'Neill, and he knows it. Taking a lot of time about setting this ball, O'Neill. He's had a mixed night, Julian. Copped a very bad knock when he went to try and make the tackle on Lottie Dakiri. But he won't be thinking about that now. He was delighted to have scored that try against his old club. Are we heading for what? Even though this is round 1, if they win, it will be the upset of the season.
And what an important penalty that turned to be for the Broncos. Lottie Dakiri penalised by the referee. When Hampstead claimed he'd yelled at him 3 or 4 times to move, Dakiri ignored it. The advantage from the ground gain from the kick saw North Queensland regain the lead.
The kick by O'Neill. He struck that well. He's got it. Terrific kick by Julian O'Neill. 16-12 it is in favour of the Cowboys. And 15 minutes remaining here at Dairy Farmers Stadium.
16, the Broncos 12.
Takes the restart for Brisbane. This will go down to Matthew Bowen, wearing the 14 for North Queensland. He's a backer, utility backer, very talented young player, Matthew Bowen. Comes from the mining community at Hopevale and playing his very first NRL match tonight. Morris Morrison.
Out three, come on, Shane, come on, mate, come on, Shane. Come on, Shane.
25 out from his own line, Glenn Morrison. That will really boost their confidence. This is Strickland. Now back to Nathan Feen. Feen again, getting that kick away, making Darren Lockyer run back almost to his own line to pick it up. His kicking game has been spot on today, Nathan Feen. He's kicked very well, the youngster. Almost every time he has kicked, he's put it into open space and he's turned Brisbane around. Not giving him any just cheap meters, able to take it on the full of the first bounce and run it back. He's thought about his kicking game. He's obviously worked very hard on it in training and it's paid off. Four tackles gone for Brisbane. Shane Webke plays it. Tackle number 5. Still just 30 out from their own line, Brisbane. The kick by Ben Aiken. Trent Lease running across field to pick it up. Lease takes it. Looking to get on the outside of Shane Walker. So both of the Walker brothers on for Brisbane. Chris and Shane.
Come on.
Adam Connell.
Stand up, boys.
Come on, Broncos, come on.
Get up,
Watch
go.
out.
Morrison.
L3. Come on, Shane Wiki, Shane Wiki.
Gordon Tallis back to his feet, and the Brisbane captain will be back into the fray shortly. They're inside Brisbane territory once more, the Cowboys. Oh, the pass has gone straight through Julian O'Neill. Runs back, picks it up, comes back almost to halfway before he kicks. Lockyer. Pass which, that could have gone anywhere. And Lottie Zakiri was able just to drag it in. Here's Michael DeVere. So with the interchanges now made by both sides, both still have 5 interchanges remaining.
Held through, let him up now. Here I am, Cowboys, here I am, hold, Cowboys, hold.
Fair snap, says the referee. John Buttergig, the player who comes up with it. That could be a vital turnover. Jones quickly away to Feen. Feen gives his pass on to Matthew Bolt. Bolt is taken to ground 22 metres out from the Brisbane line. North Queensland lead by 16 points to 12 over Brisbane. They're inside the 20. Across field they go. Robert Ralph trying to unload the pass and can't do so.
Stand up, Robert Ralph. Don't baby like that. You won't get it, mate. No way in the world. You're not going to get it
Doyle
like that.
from dummy half. Now to Buttergig, the player responsible for stealing that ball, and the big fella would love to score a try. He's 5 metres out from the line. Only a couple of metres from scoring North Queensland. Last is coming up for them. In the hands of Nathan Feen. Feen goes for a field goal. And drop goal by Nathan Feen. Smart thinking by him. Extends the lead to 17-12. At least they come away from that end of the field with something to show for it.
And retain possession. Denying Brisbane the chance. I get some people will argue and say, well, what's the difference between 4 and 5? Of course, depending on where the try would be scored, if Brisbane managed to score it, there's certainly no guarantee that that's going to happen. But the Cowboys will retain possession. It also gives them a little bit of added confidence. They really are sky high at the moment. They can smell the club's very first victory over the Broncos. And the way that they're playing at the moment, they don't look like wasting too many opportunities. But again, the more experienced players, this is where they've got to stand up and be counted at the moment and offer the support to the younger guys.
Well, Brisbane know that they can still win it with a converted try, but their goal kicking hasn't been right on target tonight. Undoubtedly, De Beers had a couple of tough ones, but they have to score a converted try to get in front, and there's just over 10 minutes remaining. Glenn Morrison, quick play the ball. Now away to Buttergig. Buttergig driving his way towards halfway goes the big fella. Ralph decides to have a little step of his own, Robert Ralph.
No penalties now.
Gordon Tallis back from the interchange bench for Brisbane as Shane Webke makes his way onto the bench. Last from Julian O'Neill. Plants it high. Wendell Saylor drops back forward. Lets it bounce once. Takes it Saylor. Bell came through quickly to meet him and put him to ground. And the crowd cheered as Jeff Bell made the tackle.
Come on, Cowboys, behind me.
Just outside their own 20. Played by Walker. That's Chris Walker. Now to Saylor. Says, well, someone's got to do it. I'll try and take them on myself. But met by a brick wall of defence from North Queensland, who really have lifted. They can smell victory, North Queensland. Shane Walker on tackle number 4. 15 inside his own territory. Now to Prittis. Luke Prittis running on the fringe of the ruck. The North Queensland defence though comes across with him to make the tackle. This is the last coming up for Brisbane. Slow play the ball by Prittis. Now the kick by Sean Berrigan. It's Trent Lease who's back forward. A hand to it, not backwards, says the referee, Sean Hampstead. I bet he breathed a sigh of relief when he didn't hear the whistle go. Trent Lease. Peter Jones. Jones struggling to get out to his own 40. Quick play the ball from Bowen. Then to Julian O'Neill. O'Neill gives a short pass. Picks up Daniel Strickland. He's 11 metres short of halfway, Strickland. Onto the short side, again to O'Neill. Once more looking for a runner coming on his hip. No one was there that time. Batagig was, couldn't get the pass to him. Here's the last. O'Neill to play the ball. Back it goes to Nathan Feen. Feen's kick. I may have put the mocker on him. That's the first one he's actually kicked straight to an opponent. This time into the arms of Lottie Takiri. And Takiri is smothered by young Matthew Bowen.
Oh, he just got there then.
Berrigan.
Just got square. Well, 2 hands up now, hands up.
Few metres inside their own territory, Brisbane. Bad pass, which was slugged by Shane Walker to nobody. Now again, pass, which Brisbane were able to pick up. Brisbane will race away and score a try that came out of nowhere to Chris Walker. It was a pass that could have just been intercepted so easily by North Queensland. They thought they had it. Chris Walker was able to snap on it and then race away and score right underneath the post. 17-16, and a kick to come from in front to have Brisbane back in front.
Well, almost in front. I know Michael DeVere would have been hoping that it perhaps would have been a little bit closer to the post, but it was a real speculator. Some sloppy play on the inside, just tipped across the field, and I think it was one of those passes. And Michael, when he threw it across, just thought, well, I hope somebody's going to get it. Threw it, of course, to the non-dominant side, the left hand going across. Just hoping that it was going to go to the right man. Walker snatched it out of thin air. You can see Saylor in the background. He was hovering, thinking, well, this is a chance of being picked up. Walker not taking any chances whatsoever. Running in to get Brisbane well and truly back in control, you would think, of this game.
Yep.
I said it was from in front. It's not quite in front. A couple of metres just to the right of the upright, but probably the easiest kick of the night for Michael DeVere, but probably the most important. This to get Brisbane in front with just 6 minutes remaining.
We're talking about the importance of that field goal.
The kick by DeVere is there. Brisbane in front by a point. Who knows, Wally, that field goal might still be important. A penalty goal can have North Queensland back in front. It's not over with yet. Just under 6 minutes remaining. 18-17 it is in favour of the Broncos.
Yeah, this is often when experience really comes into play in games like this, and it's got to come down to the big names in the Broncos outfit that have got to control the game. They don't have to score the points, but they've got to control where the game's played. Webke, he's got to do a good job. Tallis, in particular, has got to be very important. But Lockyer is the man that I think will probably be in control. He's got to decide where they're going to play the game. His kick and chase game from here will control Brisbane's destiny.
Very important set of 6 this for both sides. Sivanasiva plays it on his own 20. Now Gordon Tallis. Tallis rams it straight back in towards the defence. On the fringe of the ruck once more. Changes still to go. The Cowboys have 4 and Brisbane have 3. The kick by Ben Eichen, putting it along to Trent Lease. Did well to take it, Lease. Gets to the Brisbane defence and is driven to ground. 10 inside his own half.
Certainly wasn't the best of kicks. Has offered North Queensland an opportunity to score. We're around about halfway out.
Feen looking for a runner. Going back on his inside is Strickland.
Come on, Broncos, come on behind me. Come on. Right, mate.
Fiend once more. To Buttigieg, the big fella, running it straight at the defence. Berrigan able to hold on to him though. Ralph, 25 metres out from the Brisbane line. This is the last for the Cowboys. Jones to dummy half, then to Nathan Fiend. Fiend sets himself for the high kick towards Sailor and Lockyer. Batted back by North Queensland. Sailor able to take it, looks to get on the outside of Adam Connolly. Connolly gets him to ground. Under 4 minutes left. Brisbane in front by a point. Shane Webke coming back off the interchange to be back into the fray. Wayne Bennett wants all of his experienced troops out there for the end.
Well, that's a very good idea from Bennett to put Webke out there, particularly. He will be telling him it's not just your attacking play. I need you to be around at the ruck for those little passes back on the inside. We're getting a bit tired in the middle of that ruck. Make sure it's all locked up.
Here I am, Cowboys, here I am.
Gordon Tallis. Now back to Lockyer.
Inside the 40.
Darren Lockyer's kick. Dropping back forward is Bowen. Bowen runs back inside his own 20. Brisbane coming down in a line to meet young Matthew Bowen. Shed the first tackle. Can't get away from the second though with Chris Wood. So they're back 20 on their own side of halfway. North Queensland. Make that 12 metres now as they play it. Doyle to Buttigieg. Then shuffled along the line and Peter Jones can't take it. Tallis can't get on, double locked on. Brisbane scrum feed. And Peter Jones shows his disgust. He knows that could be a crucial mistake.
Yeah, well, should he be disappointed? I suppose he's had a
Just
very
keep
good
yourself
game,
straight, Broncos. This time,
Peter
Cowboys,
Jones, but
Broncos
he's realised more than anything else that he didn't have too much pressure on him at that stage. He was probably thinking about the play that was about to take place.
What do Brisbane do now? Well, they can win this scrum. They've got just under 2 minutes remaining.
Just go down,
Have a look at it. It's got a huge blind side here. Brisbane have the opportunity to be able to attack this side. The scrum win, the ball coming out the tunnel, the referee saying
Against the feed, but North Queensland have lost it. What a scrum against the feed, but put the ball to ground, and poor old Paul Bowman slaps the ground in disgust to say, oh, how do we let that one slip away? A let off for the Broncos. Brisbane lead 18 to 17, but they've had the fight of their life, and it's not over yet. There's still a minute and 44 seconds remaining. Luke Prittis goes from dummy half. Elects not to throw his pass. Wisely takes it. He'll take his time about getting up. Does so. Now plays the ball. Gordon Tallis. He's in everything now, Tallis. He goes the big fella, the rampaging ball. He's at 12 metres from the North Queensland line. Aiken. Runs on the line. Smashed to ground. Hit in the tackle of Julian O'Neill, and he felt that Ben Aiken. That really gave the shoulder a workout. Darren Lockyer rolls it into the end goal. North Queensland, they were able to come up with it. Time ticking away. Just a minute remaining, and they've got to go the length of the field, the Cowboys.
The Cowboys now, they've got to play a support player to every pass. Brisbane have probably got to play a man in cover defence full time.
Let him go now, let him
Glenn
go.
Morrison, who's had a wow of a game for the Cowboys, and he almost got through. Fiend away to Strickland. They're only about, let's see, 40 metres out from their own line, North Queensland. Time running away from them. Little kick through by North Queensland by Fiend. Dived on by Brisbane. They appeal for equality. It's not forthcoming, and Shane Walker picks it up, and that certainly you would think will get Brisbane home. They're 32 out, and there's 23 seconds remaining. Webke. Shane Webke almost up to the North Queensland 20. Aiken. To the line goes Ben Aiken. Caught from behind in the tackle of Shipway. 3 gone. Prittis turns it back to Gordon Tallis. Tallis looking to get his way through. It's tackled. North Queensland, you have to feel sorry for them. They haven't been able to beat Brisbane. They've had 2 draws with them. Tonight they've gone down by a point. It would have been the upset of the season, but the Premiers have got home. They had to do it the halfway. 18 points to 17 full time. Who would have believed
Broncos teams.